Hi folks, Paula MacLean back again. Welcome to the Thursday video blog for supervisors and managers in human services in the non-for-profit sector. This is the fourth and last installment to talk with you about moving from crazy busy to good busy in your working day. And I want to talk this time about something that might feel is a little bit of a counterintuitive strategy. I'm going to share with you how the only way that I know to supervise people, and from a very young age when I became a supervisor, I can tell you that now this is the only way that works for me, and I think it works for most people. But it's counterintuitive because I'm going to actually ask you to spend more time with people, not less. And that feels like it's going to be just another thing that will draw down time in your crazy busy day. But here's the deal. It's an investment in time with people that will pay off down the road, and I'm just talking about weeks and months later, not years later even, that weeks and months later will pay off because people will do things differently. You'll see fewer monkeys in hallways, you'll see less frogs on your list, and you have fewer new shiny objects to be able to chase, which are the topics of our other three video blog posts on Crazy Busy. So let me talk a little bit when I'm talking about spend more time with people. And I really honestly do not know any better way of doing it than this. First of all, with each key member of your team, whoever those key members are, you need to book time with them face-to-face, one-on-one. Now, if you need to do this via video conference or telephone because people are at a distance, they're itinerant, they're moving around in their job, or they're in another city or another town, then that's perfectly fine. But this is face-to-face time. It is not in a team meeting. That's not what I mean. Team meetings are great, and you should be having them, but the reality is we do different work in team meetings than we do when we're one-on-one face-to-face. So that's the first part. Second part is every single employee should have a unique schedule, meaning for one employee who's been with you for 5 years, who's very independent and their performance is absolutely awesome, meet with them once every 2 or 3 weeks for maybe 30 minutes to 45 minutes. For the brand new person that just started last week, who's brand new on the job, really important you meet with them more often and a little bit longer. So you may meet with them weekly for 45 minutes or every 2 weeks for an hour. So this is really important that we understand that this is not a standardized schedule where everybody gets exactly the same amount of time. And here's another piece of this. As your newer staff get more independent and as your bright lights start to catch on, you can meet with them less often. But you'll notice that even the 5-year employee still gets time. Absolutely critical they get time because, hey, by what we put first and last, we communicate what we value. So we want to make sure that employees understand their value because they're first in your daytime or once every couple of weeks or once every week, whatever's appropriate for them. Next piece of this is that it is their agenda, not mine. And it is important that you coach them into the process of bringing an agenda with them. Nothing formal, just bullet list, point form of the stuff that they would like to spend time with you on. That can be updates, it can be problem solving, it can be a skill development issue, it can be a frustration around something that's going on in their work, but this is their agenda. Now, if we have time at the end of our half hour, 45 minutes, I will certainly add 1 or 2 things that I need to talk to them about, but their time is first. And it's absolutely important that they prepare an agenda. Now that puts people off a little bit initially because they think this is kind of, well, this feels like an official meeting. Well, it is. Don't hold these meetings in coffee shops. This is not a chit-chat time. This is not a social call. This is let's say a 45-minute to half hour of focused conversation about really what really matters in that particular person in your team's workload, in their day, in their week. So we need to make sure that we understand that this is purposeful. This is not just kind of an informal kind of conversation. Now, one of the things we need to say is what does this actually accomplish for us and what does it accomplish for the employee? First thing is that it builds trust and creates relationship. As supervisors and managers, we cannot do it all, and everything that we accomplish is accomplished through other people. That's the nature of supervision. It's the nature of leadership, is that we are the people who sow the seeds to make things happen. So meeting with people people one-on-one over a period of months and years creates trust and relationship. And we know that that also supports employee retention and supports employee engagement and employee satisfaction. The second thing that it does is it gives you enough time to focus on real issues. Gone are the hallway monkey conversations where we have a superficial, quick, give them directions, tell them what to do, et cetera, and it actually supports having enough time for you as a supervisor to be focused on what the employee really needs and what some of the challenges and problems that they're facing. Next, it makes sure that they have a place to put their challenges and issues. So when they catch you coming in the door and you haven't taken your coat off, you can say to them, you know what? That one's a good one for us to talk about when we meet next week or when we meet tomorrow, whenever your next supervision meeting is. Oh, by the way, it tends to be called supervision for some reason. I'm not sure why. It's kind of a funny word to give a meeting, but you know what? Call it whatever you want. Doesn't really matter. So when people have challenges, and if the challenge is not a crisis and not an emergency, it gives you a place to say, why don't you put that on your supervision agenda? Why don't we meet next week and we'll put that one up first and we'll talk about it and we'll solve that problem. We'll talk about what the issue is about. Next one is that it gives you an opportunity to give personalized positive feedback. Very often our feedback tends to be quick in the moment. Thanks very much. You did a great job of that. And that is fine. But, employees want and need more. And one of the things when I do employee satisfaction surveys with employers is that it becomes really clear that one of the things employees always find is kind of a bucket that's never full is needing some positive feedback. And if you think generationally, our younger generation people we call Gen Yers or millennials, they need more feedback because they're in a high motivation for learning and for acquiring new skills. So meeting one-to-one every week or two allows us opportunity to give that feedback. The next one benefit is that it teaches employees to relax around you. It teaches that this is a human being that supervises them. It gives you opportunities to be in a work environment face-to-face and creating a sense of comfort. And for people, very often, if you're doing this in your physical office working environment, it often feels uncomfortable for them until they're there often enough to say, this is just where we do our supervision meetings. And it becomes a very routine kind of experience. So your office or your physical work environment is not going to be one associated with disciplinary action or critical feedback. It's just associated with, here's the table that we sit at every week and we have our meetings. So it becomes an entirely different kind of experience. The sixth thing on the list for how does it benefit is that you save a ton of time down the road, because you're teaching people how to solve problems without bringing them to you, or bringing them to you only if the problem has not been solved by them, using good thinking and good problem-solving strategies that come from their own independent way of looking at issues. So no longer are you dealing with a whole bunch of minutia, a whole bunch of little details. Very often your supervision meetings will start with an employee saying, I solved this, I solved this, I solved this. I just want to give you an update. And that's absolutely awesome. So it changes the nature of the supervisory relationship, and it makes most supervisors and managers that use this model feel like they're not constantly in demand and constantly on the hot seat and constantly being grabbed by someone saying, can I have 5 minutes? Can I see you later? Can I, and then you're just going into another meeting, so you feel like you've given them short shift. Really important that this strategy be something that you use, because it is something that will save you a great deal of time down the road. So here's your assignment. Your assignment is, over the next month, put together a list of the key people that you would like to meet with, and begin the process of inviting them into this, and negotiate with them how often and how long, and make sure they understand that they need to bring you the agenda. And that might take them a little bit of time to get used to that, but coach them into it. They'll figure it out. And take the most willing and interested people first. If there's other people in the team that aren't so sure about this, take them later on in this process, and let the word of mouth that will come from the people who are keen to do this, they're going to go out and say, that was really cool, you really should try it, it was really awesome, Paula gave you wonderful support, we did problem solving, it was really a good half hour. So take the most enthusiastic people first, and then involve everybody else along the way. And if you are already doing a version of this, go back to the people that you normally meet with and have a conversation about, are we meeting often enough? Are we using the time in the way that you would like to use it? Are you bringing an agenda? Are we meeting for long enough? Are we meeting for too long? And here's one more little tip. If you're finding that you're meeting 45 minutes once a week with an employee and all of a sudden you run out of stuff to talk about, I would suggest meeting less often or meeting for not quite as long, because that's usually a message that some of the independence of that employee is beginning to build. So you do not have to stick with the same schedule forever with an individual employee. So that brings us to the end of our blog post series of going from crazy busy to good busy. And if you've enjoyed these video blogs, please, if you haven't signed up for the 3 free video series, please go to 3freevideos.learningforleaders.ca and sign up. It's 90 minutes, 3 videos of absolutely awesome training, and they're 100% free. And if you've finished out all 3 videos, please go to my website, learningforleaders.ca. Scroll down a little bit and you'll see the Mastering the Basics information. Click there. It'll take you to another site where you get a ton of information about my full-on Mastering the Basics 8 videos, 7+ hours video training program for supervisors, managers, and emerging leaders in the human services and not-for-profit sector. So until next Thursday's video post, I am Paula MacLean, and I'm your leadership coach. All the best.